Hello. I hope y'all guys are having a great day. It's your boy, Pop Hunter Chris, and today's video will be a fight about Naruto. This is a fight that I actually wish we got to see in the series, but we never got to see a full displayed fight between these two characters. On the left, we have Neji Hyuga. On the right, we have Rock Lee. But yeah, I was very surprised actually. Like when I think about Naruto fights, I'm very surprised to see that this fight actually did not take place in the Naruto universe. Well, we see like some flashbacks of Neji like winning against Rock Lee, but I wanted to see a full on fight between Rock Lee and its eight inner gates versus Neji and his Byakugan and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time, going into the abilities of both characters. If you're not familiar with Naruto, if you're familiar with Naruto, you'll pretty much know Rock Lee. Rock Lee he can't use no genjutsu. He can't use no ninjutsu. So all he has is taijutsu. So he is the taijutsu master. Then we have Neji, right? Who he has basically the eyes that can see everything, right? He's able to combine that with his, and basically, he becomes a formidable opponent. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, let's imagine this, right? A Rock Lee versus Neji fight. I don't know if you guys remember this, but back in the Chunin exams when Lee was facing Gaara, he had wanted to save the inner gates against Neji. I just every time I think about it, I'm like, wow, why couldn't Rock Lee and Neji have been like paired against each other? Well, obviously, they were on the same team, but it would have been great to see just pre-time skip what that would have been like Rock Lee before his injury against Gaara and his 5 inner gates versus Neji. I honestly would have think that Lee would have taken, that fight by far. The thing about Gaara, right? Let's talk about Rock Lee versus Gaara, right? I honestly believe Gaara was ahead of everyone at that time, right? Let's think about Gaara. Right, he has his ultimate defense because of the sand, right? And Rock Lee, Rock Lee was still able to get in there before he even took off the weights. He was still able to, dodge the sand, get through the sand. But it wasn't until he took off the weights that he was able to do some damage. And not only that, is once he activated his gates, he was able to really, deal damage to Gaara, which is like at that time in the series, like unheard of, right? So now that I think about it, let's think about it. So let's go to Naruto, right? His fight with Naruto. At that point in the series, Neji versus Naruto. Naruto, displayed some characteristics of Shadow Clone. That's all he basically used, is just overspam the Shadow Clone. And he didn't really, use no, special taijutsu. He did tap into the power of the Nine-Tailed Fox at the end to gain, a little speed and all that, and to overcome basically his rotation. But other than that, Naruto didn't display anything of amazing, like, characteristics that I believe that would allow Neji to overpower Rock Lee if that fight was to have happened. I honestly think, with the way Rock Lee's fight went with Gaara versus the way Neji's fight went with Naruto, I honestly think if pre-time skip Rock Lee was to face pre-time skip Neji, that Rock Lee would easily overpower Neji, and this is like no feat. Because if you remember when Rock Lee was using his he opened the 5th gate, right? And he was like, looks at Neji, he was like, "Do you see what you were looking for to, Neji? This is what I was trying to say for you." And Neji looks all surprised. He's like, "Damn, is that Lee?" Like, just the fact that, like, he was just like, whoa, like, he was kind of just, like, surprised. So he knew, like, pretty sure he knew at that moment. He's like, damn, like, Lee's on a whole nother level. But yeah, so I honestly think if they were to get into a fight between Rock Lee and Neji and they were to go all out, ain't no doubt in my mind. But yeah, there's just so many different ways to prove that Lee was just, Lee was one of the strongest at that time. I know it just doesn't feel that way because how the Gaara fight went down and he like got obliterated, but you got to remember Gaara was ahead of everyone in terms of power scale. So we have Gaara all the way up here, and then we have Lee, somewhere little lower, and then we have like everybody else. So just that display of that fight, I feel like just undermined Lee, I feel like undermining people's perspective of Lee, and therefore a lot of people were thinking Lee wasn't as strong as he actually is. I honestly think if Lee went to toe with anyone else, let's think about what we got, right? Rock Lee. right? So if he went against, at the time didn't have Chidori, so I honestly think Lee would have dubbed that. Naruto, he would have dubbed that. Sakura, obviously, that's an easy dub. No offense to Sakura. You're a good soul. But, and then you think about everyone else. Shino, dub. Shikamaru, dub. Choji, dub. Like, this dude was one of the hardest workers in the One Piece universe. So, just the fact that, like, I feel like just the fact that because of the way the Garo fight went, like, people undermine his skill, and they always, I feel like they just, automatically give, like, the dub to Neji as opposed to Rock Lee, which is in my opinion fucking insane. But let's all remember who died in the war. Who died in the final war? Was it Rock Lee? Nah, it was Neji. So let's remember that. No, I'm just kidding. That's fucked up. But yeah. So it's just like you had to just think about, like, just the fact Lee is just able to do that much damage to Gaara at that point in time when Gaara was ahead of everybody in terms of skill and, like, just like, in terms of skill and power, that's a major problem. I honestly don't think Neji would have dealt half the damage that Rock Lee did if they were, roles were flipped and Neji was the one who had to go against Gaara and Rock Lee was the one who had to go against Naruto. Rock Lee, if it was a Rock Lee versus Naruto fight, I honestly think Rock Lee, opening, I don't think he would beat Naruto without opening some gates, but I honestly think once he opened a few gates that he would hand Naruto the L. I know Naruto has the whole plot armor, blah, 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 blah. But if we take out plot armor and just based on the story of where we were pre-time skip, I honestly think Rock Lee would have gave Naruto the L. But I can't say the same vice versa about Neji, And not only that, like, if we go back to the Rock Lee fight, Gaara would have taken the L. Like, if you guys really think about it, if he didn't use the sand when Rock Lee was about to use his finisher at the end, and he didn't, use turn the ground to sand right when he hit the ground, he would have lost that fight. 100% he would have lost that fight. I don't know if you guys remember this one guy, Sensei closed his eyes to do a little prayer, and like Lee closed his eyes because of the pain, and Kakashi was like breaking down like how Gaara was able to get up after that massive blow was because of the fact that he turned the ground to sand, right? So if he didn't do that, if Gaara didn't do that in time, guarantee you he would have KO'd Gaara, and that would have been a dub for Rock Lee. Can't say the same for Neji, but I know for a fact that would have been a dub for Rock Lee. And just based on that, just based on comparison between the two fights that they had in the series in the Chunin exam, I would have to give my respect to Rock Lee. But it would be, man, I wish someone would animate this, but it would be so great to see a fight between Rock Lee, Primary Lotus, Tai Lotus, and 8 inner gates versus Neji, Byakugan, 8 palms rotation, and then 64 palms. But yeah, guys, so if you ask me who I would give my dub to, I'm going to give it to my boy, Rock Lee, man. That man is the man of the hour. You cannot mess with Rock Lee, Just the fact that and even towards the end of the series, he only had 6 gates, and he was still able to put up some work. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Like, let's think about what Guy Sensei did, you. Like, if they wanted to go all out, and once Lee was the master 8 inner gates, do you guys remember what Guy Sensei did to Madara with 8 gates? He almost ended a full stage of 6 path Madara. Oh my god, like bro, with both, oh my god, like with running on and everything, like the fact that he was even able to do that, like, just goes to show if guy, like, Lee was to do, at least 6, because I think at that point in the series he was at 6 before Neji died. So if he was at least do 6 over the 6 gate before he took on Neji, like, come on, man, it's a done deal. There is no competition. I can't believe this is even a conversation that people are having. Don't disrespect my boy Rock Lee like that. I know he didn't have many moments to shine, but come on, don't disrespect my boy like that. How dare y'all disrespect my boy like that? I'm gonna give the dub to my boy Rock Lee. No offense to Neji. Neji had some good points in the series. He ain't beating my boy Rock Lee, and anyone who disagrees with that, get in the comment and we can hash it out. I'll drop everything I'm doing just to go comment on that comment if you think my boy Rock Lee taking the F. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please be sure to like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment as to what you thought of the video. Let me know what you guys want in the next video, and then I'll try to base my video based on that. But otherwise, I hope you guys stay safe, don't get the coronavirus, and I'll talk to you guys soon.